Within decades, the early caliphs of Islam shattered the mighty Roman and Persian superpowers.
Allahu Akbar!
The ancient Persian capital fell swiftly, shifting the global balance of power forever. But one ultimate prize remained unreachable: the invincible fortress city of Constantinople. Its Christian spires were visible on the horizon, yet completely beyond their reach.
Across history, 5 legendary Muslim kings stepped forward to break this historic deadlock.
4 times the armies marched, and 4 times they failed against Rome. Then came the 5th attempt, led by a determined 21-year-old youth. He commissioned the largest artillery piece ever made to shatter the ancient walls. In a stroke of madness, he ordered his entire navy to march over mountains. This is the story of that 5th king, Sultan Mehmed Fatih, the Conqueror. Sultan Murad II was broken by his failure to conquer the Roman capital. He spent his final days recounting his shattered dream to his young children. Among them was Prince Mehmed, who absorbed his father's sorrow and royal legacy. The young prince swore an oath to either breach those walls or die trying. At 19, an urgent letter arrived from the Grand Vizier, changing his fate instantly. Sultan Murad had passed away, leaving the throne vacant for the young prince. Mehmed rode at breakneck speed through the night toward the Ottoman capital, Edirne. The youth was crowned Sultan Mehmed II, inheriting an empire surrounded by enemies. The veteran Grand Vizier openly doubted that a teenager could lead the empire. But Mehmed silenced his critics with cold, absolute authority and immediate military action. He built a massive new fortress, completely choking Constantinople's northern maritime supply lines. Deep exhaustion began to test the army. The Christian defenders fought back ruthlessly, inflicting heavy casualties on the lines. Deep beneath the earth, a secret and deadly tunnel war was waged daily. Byzantine Greek fire turned Mehmed's grand wooden towers into roaring, ash-filled infernos.
Inside the War Council, a conservative faction began pushing for an immediate retreat.
Faced with political betrayal and military deadlock, the young sultan stood completely alone. His spiritual mentor, Akshamsuddin, stepped forward to revive the young king's resolve. The discovery of Abu Ayyub al-Ansari's long-lost grave sent electric zeal through camp. To make matters worse, 3 European ships broke the blockade, humiliating Mehmed's navy. In pure rage, Mehmed rode his horse straight into the sea, screaming at his admirals.
The Sultan delivered a final ultimatum. Either the city falls, or we die here.
Supported by loyal General Zaganos Pasha, the aggressive offensive faction seized full strategic control. A massive operation gathered every drop of provincial's grease to pave the mountain path. The entire fleet slid across the rugged peaks in absolute, ghostly midnight silence. At sunrise, the shocked defenders saw 70 enemy ships sitting inside their closed harbor. Mehmed built a floating barrel bridge, connecting his forces across the harbor within minutes. A bloody moon eclipse filled the trapped Christian population with ancient, apocalyptic dread.
A sacred holy icon dropped into the mud, breaking the defenders' final spiritual hope.
Mehmed kept Europe paralyzed, sending calculated letters to ensure foreign kingdoms stayed neutral. To boost morale, the Sultan distributed double rations and gold coins to every soldier. 100,000 torches were lit, turning the plains into a terrifying sea of fire. Then, absolute silence fell. The dark psychological contrast broke the enemy's final nerves. In the final hours, Zafir wept on the ground, leaving his fate to God. May 20th, 1453. The morning that would redraw world maps had finally arrived.
The assault began with irregular forces, sent forward to exhaust the enemy's limited ammunition.
Next came the disciplined Anatolian divisions, striking the central sector with relentless, brutal force. Giustiniani's veteran knights held the breach, closing every single gap with a wall of steel. Then, Giustiniani was critically wounded, forcing an evacuation that shattered Christian morale completely.
Seizing the panic, Mehmed ordered his ultimate weapon into battle, the elite Janissary Guard.
In the chaos, a small secret side gate was discovered, left unlocked by accident. Elite Ottoman troops infiltrated behind the main defensive lines, raising absolute panic inside.
The last Roman emperor chose a soldier's death, disappearing forever into the thick of battle.
The terrifying cry echoed through the streets. The city is taken. The walls have fallen.
The grand gates swung open, marking the definitive end of a 1,000-year imperial dynasty. With that single historic step, the Middle Ages ended and the modern era began. The ultimate prize of Islamic history lay ahead, the magnificent Golden Dome of Hagia Sophia. Mehmed poured dirt over his turban, showing supreme humility before entering the sacred space. He immediately granted safety to all civilians, forbidding any harm to the historic city. The grand structure was consecrated as a mosque, fulfilling centuries of prophetic devotion. Rome was gone. From its ashes, a new global superpower rose to dominate the world. Mehmed consolidated absolute power, removing the old, cautious aristocratic elite from his court.
The old guard was replaced by a new generation of fiercely loyal military commanders.
Fatih transformed his capital into a science hub, welcoming European humanists and astronomers.
He established the Sahni Seman Medrese, integrating Islamic theology with modern mathematical sciences.
The broken defenses were rebuilt stronger, turning the capital into an absolutely impregnable fortress. He commissioned the historic Topkapi Palace, the administrative heart of an empire for centuries.
Mehmed's ambition did not pause. His armies pushed deep, rapidly annexing the Kingdom of Serbia. The remaining independent Greek duchies were cleared, eliminating any trace of Byzantine royal lines. In 1461, Trebizond fell, extinguishing the very last pocket of independent Roman civilization. In Wallachia, Mehmed faced his most ruthless enemy, Vlad the Impaler, who ruled with pure terror. A daring night ambush by Vlad targeted the Sultan's tent, resulting in a brutal bloodbath. The army marched into a horrifying forest of impaled bodies, designed to shatter their psychological resolve.
Mihzar refused to be intimidated, driving Varek into exile and establishing complete Ottoman control.
The Akkoyunlu Turkmen challenged Mehmed, but were utterly destroyed by superior Ottoman gunpowder tactics.
Albania's fierce resistance was broken, securing the imperial flank along the strategic Adriatic Sea. For 16 years, Mehmed fought Venice on water, stripping away their wealthy trade colonies. Venice was forced to sue for peace, acknowledging Fatih as master of the Mediterranean. In 1480, Ottoman forces landed in Otranto, opening a direct gateway toward Rome. Absolute panic gripped the Vatican, with the Sultan's invincible armies now sitting days away. He codified the laws of the empire, structuring the administrative state for centuries ahead.
Fatih built the Grand Bazaar, turning Istanbul into the central crossroads of global commerce.
His administration elevated talented individuals from across conquered lands to the highest seats. By 1481, decades of continuous military campaigns severely broke the Sultan's health. Refusing to die in bed, Fatih ordered one last campaign, keeping the target secret.
The Grand Army gathered at Hunkar Çayırı, prepared for another massive global expedition.
On May 3rd, 1481, the soul of the great conqueror left this world. To prevent immediate military succession riots, his death was kept an absolute state secret. When the truth broke out, a massive wave of sorrow shattered the military guard. His body was brought home, carried through the imperial city he had famously conquered. He was laid to rest at the Fatih Mosque, an eternal monument to history.
In Europe, church bells rang out in celebration with the words, "The Great Eagle is dead."
His son, Bayezid II, ascended the throne of an incredibly massive global superpower. The fall of Constantinople forced Europe westward, directly triggering the age of global discovery. Fatih's reforms built the world's first modern standing army, dominating battlefields for centuries. Under his shadow, the Islamic world safely preserved global sciences, while Europe was dark. He laid the blueprint for an empire that ruled 3 continents for 600 years. The broken dream of Murad was transformed into an immortal reality by his son. Few men have single-handedly altered the entire trajectory of human civilization like Mehmed. His legacy proved that when absolute faith joins strategic will, history itself must bow.